Hey, what up, y'all? What up? What up? I am Blue. Just trying to get a few things set up. Got a new PC build, which is gonna be for my streaming. I have my previous build that I had before the PC I was using. I was using that for streaming slash gaming, right? Trying to do both. So one of the things I end up doing, what I notice, especially when I game and I stream, my CPU, like, dude, I'm using about easy 80, 90% of my CPU, probably more sometimes. Um, my GPU is at bouncing around from 70 to 100% usage, and that's because I have a 6900 XT. That GPU is a beast, man. It really is. But even again, gaming on high settings, streaming, and all of that, just it was eating up a lot of my resources. So I'm trying to. I don't got everything set up right now. I'm streaming on my new setup, but everything's. I'm still trying to install certain. I'm still trying to configure like my Stream Deck. I had to reconfigure that. Then I'm having some issues still. We'll see how as I bounce around, switch my viewing on my Stream Deck. But I have been issues right now because I program certain settings right to kind of go from my camera to my screen or screen and camera and all of that right. And I'm having some issues where it's not fading in and out like the way it was before. Whenever if I'm like right now it's on my camera, but let's say if I wanted to show my screen, like um, so when I click on the button to kind of go to my screen, it used to just by default fade away from camera view to my screen view, my scene, right? It's pretty much what it's called, scenes. But now it seems like when I do that, I have to first. Oh, it's almost like I have to deactivate the camera scene first and then activate the screen scene. Not doing that automatically. So I don't know. I had some issues. I was trying to get that set up. We'll see how that works. But either way, it may be a little buggy right now, um, because there's a few things that may not be working as I want to. But hopefully, the stream isn't as bad. Let me make sure. I'm gonna check something out. 'Cause I want to make sure that it's actually things are actually working. So yep, never mind. I see it. I do see that it's live. Let me take a look at it. Okay, overall it seems good. So um, I don't know why, man. It looks kind of blurry for some reason. But you know what? I think it's my quality. My quality is low when I'm looking at it playback. Either way, I think we're good. Again, guys, it's Friday. Man, am I getting audio? Let me check right quick, man. I just realized that I don't know if I'm getting any audio playback. Um, Let me check. Okay, nope, everything's good. So I'm gonna leave it as is. Again, guys, it's Friday. You know what it is? It's drinking tequila time. Trying to think, was I streaming last Friday? I think I did, man. I streamed last Friday, and but before that, it was like a week where I didn't stream because man, my throat was just. I had to go to the doctor. They checked out my throat. It was just burning, dude. It was bad, and it took a couple of days before that calmed down. Before I stopped coughing up all kinds of stuff. Either way, I'm good, back to normal now. So the tequila I'm gonna be drinking today is this bad boy. It's called the Religious Tequila. So that's the name of it, Religion Tequila. So it's supposed to be within the premium. I want to say family of tequilas. Now they're not labeling it as premium tequila. At least I don't see it on the label, anyways. A lot of the times, they put on the premium. They're not putting premium, but based on what I was reading, their process of how they make it is supposed to be very you know organic, natural, old school way of doing it. So either way, we're gonna test it out. Also, guys, so if you see me looking to the side every once in a while, so I'm a Mavs fan. Mavs are actually playing. I still want to do my streaming, but Mavs are playing right now, dude. Mavs are kicking ass right now, dude. It is awesome. Now I'm just hope they can continue that and finish off the game because Golden State had a little small run, but whew, they're playing good, man. They're playing hard. They're playing smart. They're playing tough. So hopefully they keep that up, and that's what I'm expecting, anyways. So let's go ahead and bust open this tequila, and then we'll get to let's talk code, man. We'll talk a little bit of Python program. Again, any of y'all who are new, joining the live stream, if it's your first time or not, um, what I do in these live streams, it's a perfect time, dude, in these live streams to if you need help, anything that so I program in a few different languages, but Python is the language that I kind of I'm focusing on when it comes to my content creation, right? I want to focus on Python. There's an audience of people that want to get in more into Python. And honestly, for me, I like Python. I enjoy programming in Python. Again, it's very subjective. Some people say no, I don't like it because it's the language. It's not what they're used to, right? Especially if it's somebody that's used to coming from you know, C++, Java's background, it's different. I get it, right? But if you're not coming from that kind of background, I like Python, man. I enjoy Python. That's that's my language, my go-to language. I like it a lot. So we'll go over a few things right now. But before we go over again, time to drink, man. I got my tequila, got my Mavs cup. And again, they're playing awesome right now, dude. They're again, I'm got the game on the side on my iPad, so I will be watching it. It's halftime right now, but dude, they're going off, and whew, it's a special year for the Mavs. They just put it that way, man. I did not expect them to go as far as they have, but dude, they're everybody playing tough. So we'll see what we could do, man. So let's see about this tequila. It has a good smell. The smell's good. I like the smell. Now let's taste it. Dude, that is smooth. Like there is like pretty much very little to no, like put it this way, I could feel a little bit slightly of the I don't even call it burn. I don't think it burns, right? But if you want to call it a slight little burn, but it's like way after you take a sip, it just goes down smooth. That you kind of feel a little small, warm, tingly, right? Just very tiny, go down your throat. This is pretty smooth, guys. I gotta say. Dude, I gotta say, man, I got myself another tequila. This is a keeper. That's a good tequila right there, boys. Good tequila. So, one thing, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna go over a few things, right? I've been talking about some last week. I was showing a video on my stream about Python arguments, right? So, and the reason why I talked about it, it had a viewer of mine who was asking questions. We actually met on a Zoom call. He was asking me questions about Python arguments, like kind of like he knew I was doing it, and he used my code to accomplish, try to accomplish a task, but he didn't understand really the Python arguments, the like how that was working and all that aspect of it. Either way, so I talked about it last week. So I want to kind of go over a few fundamental things. Again, anybody who's joining, if you have a question, you want me to review your code. Again, I'm live, so we review code. Just keep in mind, other people will watch the video. If you want a private session, a one-on-one session, you could connect to me on my calendar link. So I don't think I added that to the body of this video, but I will go ahead and add it to my about section of my YouTube page. Go in there, check the link, find some available time, then go ahead and book some time. Be more than happy to kind of help you out. Um, there's no charge for that. I mean, if you want to support the channel, that's awesome. You could always, there's a link to my Streamlabs, donation page, and be more than happy to donate as you want. So you could help out in that manner. But nevertheless, I'm trying to just help y'all out much as I can, whichever way I can. So that would be the way to do it. But again, if you have questions, there's anything you want to know, man, leave it in the comments. Be more than happy. For right now, we're gonna kind of go over some. I wanna talk about some fundamental things of Python programming, and kind of just go over those aspects of it. And hopefully, anybody who's new, anybody who maybe has a desire to want to be a Python programmer, you're familiar with. I'm going to talk about as well a few other aspects like what these frameworks that maybe you have heard about if you're not familiar with, right? Want to kind of review with just some basic stuff that makes sense, and that hopefully makes sense, especially when you're new. When you're new, a lot of this stuff is brand new, and you may not really incorporate to later as you get more knowledgeable. But it's one of those deals that I strongly recommend to kind of learn more so in advance. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up a project real quick, my sandbox environment. Let me just kind of get this in order. What do I want to call this project? They just call it. I'm just gonna call this folder Python. Python 2022 05 22. Right, we're just gonna play around with it. That's pretty much what we're gonna do here. So let me go ahead and open this bad boy in. Man, did I not install that? I thought I did. VS Code. So let me get that opened up. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and show my screen. Let's see if it works. Nope. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. Now it's not even showing my device, my main window. There we go. See, what the hell, man? I don't know. I need to play around with it and fix it, because I don't know what's going on. Something's happening here. I'm just not sure what that is. Yeah, I don't know. I'll mess with it later because I don't know what it is. I just can't deal with it now. But either way, this is not what I wanted to show either. Damn it. All right, let me see if I could fix this real quick. Tell you, it's a new machine, man. I'm trying to get everything set up. There it goes. Cool. All right. So one of the things that oh man, do I need I don't got that installed yet. Alright guys, hold on, give me a minute. I need to install something real quick because I'm telling you, I'm working on a new build. So because it's a new build, there's a few things that now I'm noticing I'm missing. So let me go back to camera mode. Let me get this set up real quick, and then I think we could get started. Alright, I need to install one more thing. Let me do this right quick. Damn, there's just two things that I needed to get installed that I did not do. Oops. All right, cool. So, all right, almost done. All right, cool. So I'm just getting this installed, and we could get started right quick. All right, so now let me go back. All right, cool. All right, so one of the things that I want to kind of review that it's still, I feel like it's kind of new to some of y'all. So if you're not familiar with it, hopefully this may help you out some. So one of the things that I do in most of my video, especially my videos where I'm installing packages, right? You'll notice in my videos where I'm installing packages, I always say before you get started, before you start installing any packages, third-party packages, make sure to create a virtual environment. So what is a virtual environment, right? That's always a question that I don't think people truly understand. So think of it as just kind of show a visual. Let me open up. Let me see. Just kind of show a visual right quick. Let me open this up and show it. So think of it as, let's say this is our, let me get a container. All right, so we got a container. We're gonna call this container is our PC, right? So we have our PC. That's not what I wanted. So either way, we have our PC. And then inside our PC, we have our Python interpreter installed. So right now, I think I have like Python 10 point, I don't know what it is, 10.4 maybe, something like that. But either way, I got Python installed. So think of this as its own program, and that specific program has, it's based on whenever you install it, right? So in order to install a interpreter, so again, those of you who are brand new getting started, if you were to go to python.org, you could come in here, you could download, my bad, 3.10 for, I don't know why I put 10. That's not what I meant. I was thinking of the, it's been a busy day, long day today. But either way, ultimately that's what I was thinking about, 10.4. But I mean, by default it's 3 because that's what we have. But yeah, either way. If you go to python.org, you'll see where you could download Python to get installed. Very straightforward. When you download, it's literally just, selecting, do you want to make it available to all users or just you? I will say make it available to all users. And then again, just go to the process, hit yes, install. Once you get installed, all of that will get loaded into a folder, and you have all of your what I want to call your default Python built-in packages, right? So a lot of the packages, whether it be system related, mathematical related, all of that stuff, all of those packages are part of the Python install. Now, there's other packages that you may want. Like if you're doing statistical analysis, you may want to install something like Anaconda, for example. things of that nature. That would be a different install. Let's say maybe you don't need to install a whole suite of statistical packages. You need something basic like pandas, NumPy, right? Just some specific packages. You could get that installed. So we take a look at here, right? Like Python is used for. So we have web development. These are certain packages. Django is one of the main ones that I use, and Flask are the two main ones that I use for some of my development. GUI development. So these Tkinter, it comes installed by default. It's a UI, like a desktop UI, to create UI applications. Now there are other ones like PyQt or PySlide. These are actually, there's a lot of features here that makes it very powerful. But PyQt, there's stuff like licensing involved. If it's free, open source project, that kind of stuff, personal project, it's not an issue. But it does become an issue when you're building a commercial project where you're going to sell it and things of that nature, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. But then you got some of these other ones: software development, build bots, system administration. But either way, whenever you're installing certain packages, you always hear me say, and get a virtual environment. So let's kind of discuss that. What is a virtual environment first, and what makes it different? So by default, when you install Python on your machine, think of this as your PC, and you could have many different apps installed, right? By default, you could have an Excel app, for example. That just kind of assume that you got a, what happened? Okay, so you could have, for example, just kind of show you an example. You could have Excel installed on your PC. This is considered an app. You could have, let's say, you have some kind of database tool, right? That's another app that you could kind of install on your PC. So you could have many apps that you have, and one app that you need to install in order to run Python code is going to be your Python interpreter, which is a program that you installed, and then there will be a .exe file that ultimately gets executed to run your code. I mean, think of it no different than an app. It's an app that's running, but you have to use that app in order to run your code. It interprets your code and makes it do whatever you want it to do. Now, in this version that we have of Python, right, when you do your first install, think of that should be your clean install, right? That means the only thing that lives in that folder, that lives in that section, is what you installed from the python.org website. That's it. When you're building an app, and let's say your app is going to contain third-party packages that are not included in the Python default, your Python install. So this is where, for me, where it comes in. Like, for example, I'm going to add another container. And this container I'm going to call, again, on your PC, I'm going to call this our app project. So let's say, you have a folder, right? Some kind of folder somewhere on your C drive, wherever you put it at. It doesn't matter, documents folder or wherever, right? But you're going to have a folder. Let's just call it your apps project folder. Inside that apps project folder, whenever I say create in virtual environment, what that means is, think of it as we're going to do a clone of this, and it's going to get installed. Just kind of keep it simple, right? I don't want to go too much in the details, but just from a high level, so hopefully this makes you understand. What we're doing is we're doing a clone, right? Think of it that way. This is going to be a clone of this guy right here, okay? Which means, because it's a clone, if we start installing packages in here, third-party packages, that's fine, because this environment here, which is going to be again, it's a virtual environment, because it's like, think of it as a copy of your main interpreter that you have. But the difference is, now that we have a clone of it, right, just kind of keep it hopefully in a simplistic way, you're going to start installing your third-party packages in this section. Let me make it slightly bigger. There it goes. So you're going to start installing any kind of packages you have that are not included, right? Whether it be statistical packages, web development package, whatever it is, all of that stuff you're going to start installing on this environment. This, well, again, which is called a virtual environment. And then now that we have all of that installed in here, when you get ready to run your code, what you will need to do, you're going to actually connect to this environment, not this environment. This environment is our clean environment. Because it's clean, there is no third-party packages installed. There's none of that, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. There's none of that exists here. All of the third-party packages are exist here, which is why we do. You got to activate this this environment. And so now, when you start using it, if you're trying to use a package that didn't exist, right? Like it's a third-party package, now you can. It'll use it. Now the purpose the reason why we do this is, let's see if I could get this to work. Because let's say if you have another project, and we're gonna call this, let me give it a name. This is gonna be our, I don't know. Let's call this like web app. File sharing, right? So it's a web file sharing web app. And let's say this guy over here, it's completely different. This is a desktop app CRM, right? So we created two separate projects, completely different. This is creating a desktop UI, which means if you're using something like Tkinter or PyQt or something like that, that's a whole different framework that you're going to use compared to a web app, which, for example, web app could be something like Flask or Django framework that you would use for all of that. And again, you would use front end web development as well, which would be, CSS, JavaScript, HTML, all of that stuff, right? So a whole different suite of packages that you're going to use. Now, because they're completely different, the only thing they would have in common in this scenario would be they're using the same Python version. That's it. The packages, though, the third-party packages would be different. This guy would have Django, for example. It may have, let's say, a Postgres package for your database. You would have a ORM package, like a Django ORM, and that allows you to interact with the database, but more in a programmatic way. Like you would have that kind of stuff. Where over here, you may still have a like a Postgres type package, and you may still have some sort of ORM as well, but it may be a different ORM. Like this could be a Django. Like there's a package called Django or ORM. Well, if you're using a Django ORM, ideally you're probably not going to use that for over here. You will use some kind of other ORM. Maybe there's one called Peewee ORM, which I like a lot. I think it's pretty good. And then, but nevertheless, you're going to use different packages. Potentially, because you're doing that, you want to keep things separated, everything on its own. So that's the whole purpose here. You want to keep this main version clean. So that's why we create virtual environments. Think of it just as doing some clones. So let's kind of walk through the process of one, just so you kind of get familiar with it. Now, I do have a video as well on YouTube, so you're more than welcome to check out that video. I'm trying to see, where is it at? Let's see. What did I call it? There it goes. So I got it right here. Let me go ahead and show it real quick. So I do have this video that's called Python, What is Virtual Environments? So you're more than welcome to take a look at that, kind of go in more detail, and hopefully that could help you out. But again, I strongly recommend, man, when you're working on projects, to have virtual environments, man. You gotta have it, guys. Like, it's a big plus. If you don't, what happens? Your whole environment gets out of whack. It just causes all kinds of issues, in my mind. Especially when you're new and you're first getting started, then you're gonna be wondering why certain things are not working, why you're having compatibility issues, because maybe one project is using a later version of the package, but you really need this older version of that same package on this other project, and now you wonder why it doesn't work no more. And I mean, it just causes all kinds of issues, guys. So I would strongly recommend to always, do that. I'm just looking at the Mavs. I mean, they're still up, but man, Golden State's starting to come back a little bit. So Mavs needs to get in sync. So either way, let's kind of let me show you on how do we do that. So what I'm gonna do is, as you could tell here, this I'm in this folder that has nothing in it. Right? There's nothing in here. Let me open up my terminal. Git bash. So let me go to C drive. Documents. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. What the hell was that? My key got stuck. Oh, you know what? My bad. I put it in the wrong spot. Nope, that's not what I wanted. So let me do something real quick, guys. I put the folders and everything in the wrong spot. I was not trying to do that. I did, but I was not trying to do that. So let me kind of go back. There it goes. This is where I meant to put it at. So let me close out of this project and open up the new project. Alright, cool. So now that I have that in order, let me go back. Alright. So again, same thing. We don't have nothing in here, right? It's empty. Let me open up my terminal. Code. Sandbox. Python. So I just created this folder for today. It's a sandbox environment. I'm going to play around with it. Make this a bit bigger. So if we type Python, you could tell sometimes. So keep in mind, once you install Python, depending if there's already a version installed and all that kind of stuff, you may have to do Python 3, for example. Sometimes they may be 3.10 or like 3.9, right? Depends on the version and stuff like that. But in this case, I only have one version. I just have to type in Python, and you can tell I'm using Python 3.10. So let me go ahead and quit. So what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and create our virtual environment. So what we're going to do here, in order to do that, we're going to call Python. We're going to do -m. Then we're going to do virtual. You know what? I may need to install that, but we'll see in a minute. And then, so it's venv. So ultimately that means that's saying, hey, we're going to create a virtual environment. And then my next argument is going to be, well, what do I want to call that virtual environment? So in my case, I'm just going to call it env. That's what I'm going to call it. So let me go ahead and run it. So now that it ran and it finished, we could see there's a folder in here now, which is called env. And if we take a look at it, you're going to see a lot of the files that you would actually see in the main install of Python. So for example, we have lib, site packages, and there's really not much in here today right now. So let me come over here. I'm going to go to C drive. There it goes, Python 3.10. As you could tell, there's a lot more in here, right? That's what I'm saying. It's not a true clone, but think of it more. It's more like a reference. It's referencing your main environment. So let's see. If I go to, let's look at lib. So these are some of the packages that we have in here by default. Now you don't see them in here, but we have access to all of these packages because again, these are all part of the Python the main install, right? So these are all packages that are available. Now, as we install new packages, you'll see them show up in the site packages. My bad. Yeah, under libs, site packages. So you'll see all of that kind of get installed as well. And then, of course, you got your scripts. I think we have scripts over here as well. Scripts, again, a few other ones because we're going to activate it. Again, since this is an environment that we're creating, we need to activate the environment. So that's kind of where we have our activate file over here. And ultimately, if I click on it, what we're doing is we're running the script, and this script, as you could tell, it's pointing. It knows where to point to, which folder to go to. It has all that information in its place, and it's going to activate our environment to use. So either way, now that we have this installed, right? For example, we have all of this installed. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to activate it. So the way we activate it's pretty straightforward. So there's two ways to do it. Depends if you're using Mac or Linux. Mac and Linux is the same way. Windows slightly different. But so I'm going to show you both ways, right? So in order to activate it in Windows, because that's what I'm using here right now, it's going to be Python. Oh my bad, not Python. It's going to be source. Then I got to specify the activate file. But where it's located, it's different from a Mac compared to Windows. So in Windows, it's going to be my folder, which is env. And then it's going to be scripts. Then it's going to be activate. That's the file. So when I activate it, you're going to see right here, this is the name of my environment, like the name that I gave it. So this will let me know that, hey, as you're coding, you're running your code, you're using this environment, like this virtual environment for your code, right? It kind of lets you know that. That's pretty much what that is. So now let me deactivate. In order to deactivate, when you're done, just go ahead and deactivate it or close the tab. But if not, deactivate it. So what I'm gonna do, just type in the word deactivate, and then you'll see it go away. We don't have this in here no more. So for Mac and Linux, it's slightly different. It's still source, still env, because that's our folder right there we're dealing with. The difference is it's not going to be scripts, it's going to be bin. And then, of course, it's going to be activate. Now, I'm not going to run it because, again, it's not, that's for Mac or Linux, but that's how you would do it. So those of you who are using a Mac, using Linux, that's how you would do it. When it comes to deactivating, it's the same way as Windows. Just type in deactivate and it'll get deactivated. So let me go back and activate it again. Once I activate it, I can start installing packages. So let's say if I want to install share plump, I'm going to do pip install share plump. Boom. Share plump consists of many other files. So anytime you see where it's like collecting this, collecting that, the reason why it's doing that is there's other dependencies that needs to get installed in order to use share plump in this case. So there are going to be times where you install one package and that one package needs these other packages in order for it to work right. Now you could tell this is where it becomes very important. See how this installed the request version 2.27. Let's see. Let me see if I see. Here's a good example. libs 3, but look how it's formatted. It has to be under 1.27 version, but greater than 1.21. All right, and then which means it ends up downloading 1.26. So keep that in mind. For share plump to work, it wants a specific version. So why does it want that version? It could want that version because there could be something in 1.27 that potentially could break it or is breaking SharePlump because they, whether it be a security or whatever it is, right? So because of whatever issue you may have, until somebody updates it in SharePlump to fix it on their end, normally these cases, what ends up happening is whatever other package is needed for this, again, for whatever package we're trying to install, it's going to want a specific version. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. A lot of the time they may just be using the latest version, and that's fine. Some cases though, that's not the case, and this is one of them where, see, like this in this case here, saying greater than 1.3. Ultimately, what that means is as long as it's not 1.3, less than 1.3, you go ahead and use it, which means get the latest version. But that's not what it's doing for a lot of these. A lot of these, it wants a specific version. Like this guy, it wants 2.0. Or like in this guy, now that's guy fine. But this guy, this is a perfect example. It wants it to be under this version, but greater than this version, right? Which means if you use a greater version, like urlibs, like what's the latest version that's out right now? urlibs 3. Let's take a look at it. So if I take a look at it, the latest version, let's see, released. Latest version is, no, I'm actually using the latest version. This is the latest version. I wonder why they put this criteria in here then. Like, I'm looking at it, the latest version seems to be 1.26.9, which is this guy. But they put logic that says, do not install 1.27. I don't know if they did that because maybe it was already released that 1.27 is going to have some changes that may break it, so they just added that in advance. Who knows, right? I'm not sure of the reasoning behind that, but whatever it is. But again, this is why having virtual environments matter, because now it's installing specific versions that this package needs, and my bad, guys. I'm just looking at the Mavs, and damn, Golden State coming back. Damn it. Mavs were winning too by like 15 or so earlier, but they just can't make no shots, man. It seems like all the shots that they're shooting up, they're missing. Damn it. Oh, the kickball. That's fine. All right, cool. So either way, so just keep this in mind. We installed this in this virtual environment here. Again, if I go to my libs file, see how we have all these other installs now that we didn't have before. Like request. All of this stuff didn't exist. SharePlump, urlib 3. These were installed on this environment only. They only exist in this folder only. They don't exist in our main Python folder. Like if I go to libs, and if I go to if I go to lib site packages, you don't see them in here because this is not being disturbed, right? This is being whole. Think of it. This is being kept in its original context. But it is over here, and then that's where the difference comes in, because as you work on other projects, you're gonna have different versions potentially. Maybe they're not the different version, but if they are, you don't want to have to install these other versions of the same packages. If you don't do virtual environments, and you start installing all of these, because you could do it, install all of these in your main Python and program that you install when you download and install. What's going to happen long term, maybe it doesn't happen right away, but what happens long term is you're going to have issues where eventually those packages that you're installing are the latest version, but a year from now they're not the latest version no more. They're older versions. So if you end up working on a project where maybe you're using the latest framework, let's say you're working on a Django project, and the Django project a year ago was 3.2, but now that a year had passed, the latest version is 4.1, I believe, or 2 or something like that. But it's a 4.1 version. Well, that 4.1 version may need newer versions of the other dependency packages. And if you start installing all that in one machine, what happens is it's going to try to update the old version that I have to the new version. And if it does that, that means removing the old version, installing the new version. But if you go back and try to run your old app, that maybe you were coding with a year ago, the app was built on a year ago, you ever need to make changes. Well, now you're gonna have potentially conflicts because like, oh, it doesn't work because it doesn't have the right version. It needs this older version package in order to work. In order to avoid all of that and prevent all of that, that's where this comes in, right? Virtual environments come in. You keep it separate. You only install what you need for that specific project, which is what we did. So now everything exists in here. So now if I want to use it, right, if I were to, connect to Python, then I'm going to do like import share plump. See, I didn't get an error. And the reason why I didn't get an error because it's actually working. If I were to create a new tab, oh, that's not what I wanted. A new tab. And let's say in here, I do Python. But again, this is the main install, not the virtual environment. If I were to do the same thing, import share plump, boom, error message. Why is there an error message? Because it does not exist, right? This is a third-party package, and it does not exist in our main Python environment, but it does exist in the virtual environment, which is I got this active and I stepped into, and that is where it does exist. And which is what we want, right? In order when we're working on specific projects. So again, virtual environments, dude, they're key, man. You need you should not be coding without virtual environments when you're developing projects. I made the mistake when I first. Here's the thing: when I first got started, you don't know any better. So when you first get started, even as you learn some tutorials, most of the time, what's happening is they may be focusing on fundamentals, right? They're focusing on what a variable is, what a loop is, right? For loop. You're focusing on maybe classes, functions, inheritance. Like you're focusing more what I want to call fundamentals of programming. That's kind of where you're more focusing and learning. But there's things, and because when you're learning, you start working on like, oh, I want to work on this project, or I want to, you're trying to build something maybe on the side, just ad hoc, but you're like, oh, I need this package in order for work because you saw that's what's needed. So now you end up installing it, but you don't install it on the virtual environment. You install it in your main interpreter, and now your main interpreter gets all messy, out of whack for that reason. So I'm trying to kind of save you a pain. And it's good to learn up front to really help out. Damn it, man. They were doing so good. Luca, man, he was trying a little bit too hard, man, get the ball out. Ooh, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like the ball got turned over. Something happened. I mean, I can't hear the volume, so I'm just looking. Damn it, Mavs. They need to keep it up, man. Tell you. All right, I know I'm getting sidetracked with the Mavs, but I'm a Mavs fan. Got my Mavs cup and everything. We were doing so good, man. So good earlier, but now, oh, damn it. Golden State came back, so we'll see what Mavs is able to do. Damn it. All right, let me get back. Got kind of out of focus with the Mavs. But again, guys, one of the key things that I know I did not learn up front that I wish I would have learned because it made my environment so messy and caused all kinds of issues. Eventually, it made me learn what I was doing wrong and fix it. But nevertheless, to kind of save you a headache, and that doesn't happen to you. And again, especially when you're new, this is one of those deals where it's very ideal, man, to know when you work on projects, even if you're just working on some very small basic projects, create a virtual environment, man. Set up a virtual environment, activate the virtual environment, install whatever packages you're trying to play around with on that virtual environment, and understand what a virtual environment is, how to use it, and it'll make your setup way more cleaner, man. Way more less headaches compared to when you first get started. Things are gonna work fine because you have a clean install of Python. And if you're working on a project, let's say we're gonna install Django, you're probably installing the latest version of Django, and then you're gonna install other dependencies or other packages. They're gonna be the latest version. All of that works fine. But what happens a year later, 2 years later, for example, all of that going to get outdated. You're going to have a newer version of Django, right? A year ago would have been 3.2. Well, now we're working on 4.1, I believe, or 4.0 Django. And then, it's just going to cause that kind of issues. But again, guys, just it was a big headache for me. So hopefully that's something you kind of learn as you go, and you know, it's not a issue for you anyways. Because, man, I'm telling you, it was a pain, man. It was a big pain to me, but that's fine. You learn as you go, right? That's how we learn. What else? Again, guys, any questions you may have, let me know, man. This is the time to in the live stream to let me know what if you need any help with anything. Be more than happy to review your code, what you have, all of that kind of stuff, right? That's the whole purpose of the live stream, which one is trying to do. Again, my setup is a little bit buggy because of certain apps right now. I need to fix it, man. I'm using Streamlabs, and there's just some issues, man, going on. Come on, man. Y'all need to do something, dude. It's tied, but now they're just getting fouls, and things are just kind of going Golden State way, which is not good for the Mavs, that's for sure. So now I'm gonna give me some more. Man, this tequila's good, guys. I gotta say, some good stuff. So I'm a programmer by trade, I guess. I enjoy programming. I've been programming already for a couple of years. Database guy. I enjoy doing all of that. I'm a tech guy as well. I've been even back, man, when I was in high school, man. There was things that tear apart my PC, upgrade. This is way back when PCs actually had style, right? It was the old, what was it? The like the brownish, grayish type cases, and all the PCs came in that case pretty much. They weren't towers either. They were more like wide, like boxes, wide boxes, pretty much. Um, and it was way different, dude. I look back at it like, man, like what kind of RAM did I have? I think that the RAM was like in megahertz, right? Like right now it's in gigs, right? We're dealing with like my streaming PC right now that I'm streaming on has 32. It is 32 gigs of RAM, but it's DDR5 RAM. So that's way. I mean, again, that's the new stuff, right? That came out and it's fast. On my gaming setup that I have 32 gigs of RAM, DDR4, and then of course my workstation have 64 gigs of RAM. But again, that kind of shows you, right? We're in the like for me, all of my builds are no less than 32 gigs. And I have a server. I mean, you can't see it on the other side. that has, I think, have like maybe 128 gigs of RAM or so, something like that. But um, did I remember back in the day where the RAM was in not gigs but in megs? Like, what the hell were we dealing with? 512 megabytes of RAM, maybe, or something like that. Like, it looks kind of the same. There were stakes, and not just that, the stakes were like the 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 green, um, the board, right? It was like the old school green. Nowadays, like, it's all kind of more stylish. They have covers on them. They have heat sinks, RGB. Have all that stuff, right? Way way different. But man, I'm a tech guy. I like tech, which is why I have a lot of equipment going on. Um, I need to do a video to kind of show my setup. I need to clean my office though before I deal with. But besides that, one of these days I'm gonna make a video showing my setup, right? Like my streaming setup. You always see me with the same background and all that. Kind of show that setup. Like the camera. This camera is pretty newish that I got not that long ago. I think I got maybe like 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago, man. But I'm gonna say around 2 months ago. It is a Black Magic 4K camera, dude. It's awesome. It's awesome. The only thing I wish it had that I wish it had it doesn't have um, is autofocus. Now it does have a somewhat focus capabilities where you can kind of autofocus, but it's not autofocus from a sense where the lens adjusts, the camera adjusts itself. It's more of a, you gotta like kind of tap on autofocus and it does autofocus on the subject. But again, right now I think it's pretty decent. And I like the lens that I have because the background is kind of blurry. You could tell my hand is a bit more in focus. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think, man. Is it a little bit blurry? There we go. That's pretty decent. But again, that's what I'm saying, right? It's not. There are some other cameras. Like I was looking into one, like the Canon one, and but it would have been more pricey, man. If I would have bought that, it would have been like $2,400. So like, damn, this one that I have, it's not cheap either, but it wasn't that pricey. I think it was like what, 1,300 bucks. I think it was like $1,200, and the lens was like $400. So total $1,600. If I don't got the Canon, it would have been like $2,200 plus the lens. Same thing would have been like $400. So you're looking at 2,600. So it would have been 1,000 more. The quality is awesome on this one. The thing about this one though, this one's very advanced when it comes to 4K, the raw image and all that. Like, dude, it is awesome. It's a cinema camera, so it has all kinds of great features as well. Damn, man, we need the Mavs to come back. They were up, man, at one point by like 15, and now they're just struggling, man. Everything's like going against them. Can't make shots. Their shots being blocked. Like earlier, it was like the opposite of that, man. It was complete opposite. Now it just everything's going Golden State way, man. Everything's going their way. Damn it. They're getting fouls, all the foul calls. There were fouls that Matt should have got earlier. Just again, it's one of those deals, man. I don't know. I feel it's almost like the refs are kind of light on that. Like, all right, Mavs are up by a lot. We're not gonna call every single foul, so they let them slide on certain fouls because maybe Mavs are up by so much. Who knows? Then of course now it's like boom, all of those calls that are going Golden State way. Man, and then of course Mavs are missing shots, and that's a key thing, man. There was a few open shots that they should have made and they couldn't make. Damn it. What else I want to talk about? I was gonna start working on this other, cause I'm working on this other project, but man, I forgot. I don't have it on my new PC. I have it on my other setup, my other computer, and my other computer not even on right now. At least if it was on, I could probably transfer that project over. Not even transfer it, but go ahead and push those changes out to my GitLab account, and then do a pull request. But I can't even do that because it's not even on. I have it off right now. It's not even connected to the network or nothing. So I have no internet. It's not connected. So yeah, I'm kind of screwed there. Can't really do much about that piece. Um, Trying to see if the call. Man, it's just tough, man. I'm just looking at the game though right now, the Mavs, and yep, that was a foul on the Mavs. But dude, they were up by so much earlier, and then now they're down by 6. There's still enough time, but they gotta go on a little run, dude. They gotta make their shots, and that's the issue, man. They've been missing their shots the last 5-6 minutes, man. Probably even longer, 7 minutes. They just been struggling, and Golden State came back. Dude, I'm telling you, this tequila's good. Some good stuff. Whew. Man, I don't have that project, so we can't go over that. We're gonna start kind of going over a Django project that I've actually started working on, but I don't have the code to go over that, so I can't do that. Let me check real quick. I want to check something. I think I had a few on my view. A few of my viewers, they had a few questions over how to do something. So let me kind of go through that right quick. So let's look at my comments. Let's see. Um, so here's a good thing, and we can kind of go over this because this actually I think makes sense. I need to connect though. So the question here from a viewer was, let's see. The question was, how can we connect to how? So I have a video that's called downloading files from SharePoint, Python downloading files from SharePoint. So one of the things they asked was, how can we do that, but instead of downloading them, just saving them locally, ultimately have it get moved to an Azure blob storage, Azure storage, pretty much, right? That's kind of what they're asking for. So I believe Azure does have, and let me go ahead and connect real quick to it. So let me see. Let me log out. I need to re-log in. Let me sign out. Let's see. All right, cool. Now that I'm logged in, make sure I'm under the right group. I am, so that's fine. So let's see. Where's my? Let's look at resources. I want to look at all of my services. Let's look at storage. All right, let me create one, and I'm gonna call this. Let's call this. Damn it, man! Mavs can't catch up. I'm gonna call this YouTube. Let me call it I am Lou YouTube. The field can only contain lowercase. That's what it is. I am Lou YouTube. All right. Performance standard. Blah blah blah. That makes sense. Next. Secure. That's fine. Blob storage, enable SFTP. I don't need to do that. Enable large file sharing. Next, enable public access from all networks. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and create that real quick. Okay, so now that I have that blob created, what I want to now see is what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go to, let me see, where's my, where would this be at? This would be under, let me see. No, it's not under that. Let's see, is it under analytics? Alright, I think it's under Data Factory, I believe. Let me go to Data Factory. Let's take a look at this. Let's see, where is it at? Um, nope, this is not it. Damn it. So you know what? I think this would work. Let me try this. So let me create a data factory. Let me see, default resource group. I'm just gonna call this data factory test. Let me see. I am Lou. All right. Damn it. Nope, this is not gonna work. All right, let me go back. Where would this be? So maybe what I need to do here is gonna let me go to my office. And let me go to where's my other apps? Power Automate, that's what I was looking for. So if I go to Power Automate, let's create. Let me see if there's one for Azure. Damn, I don't see it. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna have to play around with this for a bit. I was hoping that there was a way under. I guess let me share my screen. That there was a way under Power Automate to be able to connect to your SharePoint folder and point it like drop your files to a Azure storage blob. But I don't see that as an option. Plus, it's a premium, which kind of sucks because now that means you got to pay for it, right? It doesn't come it doesn't come included. Um, So I know one way. Let me go back to it. So if I go back to Azure, let me go to where is it at? Is it analytics? And I'm going to look at Synapse. But again, this is not what I think they like. This is way too much just for to be able to move data, right? Like this allows you to use some features to do so, but this does not really make sense to do it that way. Um, Damn it. Damn, man. Matt had the lead. They were doing so good. Just Golden State, man. They just keep making their shots, getting all the fouls called. Everything just pretty much went their way, man, towards the end, and got them on the lead and stayed in the lead. Damn it, man. Whew. All right, let me just go ahead and cut it off because it's already done. Damn, man, it sucks. Oh man, oh man. All right. Data lake. Mm, I need to do some more research on this. Try to see what. I know. So I know, like in Synapse, like I use Azure Synapse. In that environment, you could have a storage blob, and then from there you could create some pipelines um, in Synapse, which ultimately you could, again, move do some kind of transaction, which in this case would be connect to SharePoint or other sources. I think S3 and so on. We could go ahead and pull that information over and drop it into a Azure storage blob, but without having to set up Synapse or even Data Lake or some of the other services. If the goal is we're just trying to drop it directly into an Azure storage blob, that's it, right? It's probably going to get used for something eventually, right? That's the whole purpose of it. But nevertheless, the ask here is how do we take data from SharePoint and drop it directly into a Azure storage blob? And I think initially they were asking more from a Python standpoint, but there should be. I know there again. I've done some stuff similar to it, but I don't think there's a need to set up a whole Azure Synapse either, or anything like that, or Data Lake, or none of these other services in order just to accomplish that one piece. Um, I'm gonna have to do some more research, try to see how to run that process. So my again, I have some knowledge in Azure, but this is not my expertise. My expertise is more so with AWS. You know, Glue services, Redshift, Lambda, S3, EC2, all of that stuff. Um, but I've been getting more and more familiar with Azure. I just need to do some research on that. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty simple and straightforward. But man, I don't have the answer right now. Um, hmm. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Yeah, I need to figure it. Need to do some testing on that piece. Man, the Mavs were doing so good, man. Like they were up, kicking ass in the beginning. It just towards the second half, man. It was like towards the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, they just couldn't make nothing, man. Make no shots, and everything was just going Golden State's way. Foul, they were getting fouls, and shots were going in, and all of that, and Mav just couldn't keep up, man. At the end, damn it. Hopefully, when we come back home, man, that's the goal. Cause we did it with Phoenix. Mavs were down 0-2 in the beginning, but once we came back home, we won those two home games. So man, that's a big must. Cause I could tell you right now, even if we lose one of those two games, the home games, it's pretty much over, man. Honestly, they gotta win both now. They had today's game, man. First half, awesome, dude. They did their job. They just couldn't finish it off in the second half, and everything just going Golden State way in the second half, man. All right, let me see where. I'm trying to think where that. Let me see. Let's see. Pipelines. Let's look at clouds data pipelines. See data sync, Salesforce. Nope, that's not what I want. So this is like one of the apps that you kind of buy, like the services, pretty much, but you pay for it on a, I don't know, whatever it is. But this is not what I'm looking for, though. Um, Same thing. This is not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I need to do some research, try to figure this out. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not on. This is not my expertise, Azure, but I know I've been using it the last really couple of months, probably from the beginning of the year to now. I've been using it a little bit more and more on some other on a specific project, so I've been getting more familiar with it, but still not that familiar with it yet. Um, hmm. Mm, no. So we have Azure, Synapse. But this is not what I want either. I know this works. This should work. But this is not what I want, man. This is not what one should need to use. Hmm. let's take a look at this. Storage, sync. The hell? Nope, I didn't spell nothing wrong. Oh, it's not in here, that's why. Storage. There it goes. Let's see, where is it at? Yeah, I need to play around with it. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing what I'm trying to do. Um, so let's see. So we have a storage account. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with it. So I think from a coding standpoint, there is a way. I was hoping there's an easy way to do it just by setting up a job and have it where it will sync that way. And I just don't see that though. But I think from a back end standpoint, let's see. Oh, I see how it's doing it. So I think there is a way to do it via Power Automate, and it's using the HTTP protocol to do so. Pretty much through an API. So that's interesting. And then, of course, it just takes files all the files. I think when a file is okay, anytime there's a new file created, it will copy it over. This is actually interesting, so I'm gonna play around with that, see how that works out. All right, so I think I have something I'm gonna try out and see how that works out. So this is gonna be I think I'm gonna try with Power Automate first, and I think that may be the easier option. Need to just make sure my blob is set up, which I think I do have it set up already. So if I go to storage, oops, storage account, I created one. Then when I click on it, I have all of my details in there, I believe. Um, File share. Now the difference, the way this works, of course, is more of a it's more like a trigger, right? If you get any new files, so not necessarily saying, hey, we're gonna transfer all the files over. So like for a company that's already operating and they have a SharePoint folder, maybe there's 1,000 files in there. Now it's not going to address that issue, but what this does address is more so the, hey, we're dealing with, we got a new folder, or maybe you migrate manually the other files, move them over to your blob. But going forward, we want to be able to anytime new files get created, we want to get that triggered over to Azure. Then that's where this will come in handy in the SharePoint. And it comes in very handy because once you put it into a blob, from there, depending on what you're doing in Azure, whether you have some kind of pipelines and processing or whatever it is, maybe like Synapse, a good example, right? In Synapse, if your blob is going to a specific folder, well, you could create an external table in a SQL, a serverless environment that ultimately that is your data, right? I mean, the way it works is reading raw data. It's not a relational database. It's more of a, it runs as it's needed. So when you need to run a query, you create a normal query like normal to query the data, but at the end of the day, it's not a database underneath. So it's a different that's where serverless SQL comes in place. But yeah, this is interesting. I need to play around with this, see how that operates. But either way, guys, it's already about to be 11. Kind of quiet day today. For sure, there's more activity. A lot of the other days, a little bit quiet today. But nevertheless, guys, those who join, appreciate it. You give me a like, give me a follow. I appreciate it. I'm on every Tuesday and every Friday. Tuesdays from 8 p.m. to 10. On Fridays, 9 to 11. And then, of course, I have follow me on my channel as well, Gaming with Lou. So this channel is strictly for programming, maybe some business stuff as well, because I do have my own business. They kind of go, sometimes they overlap. But either way, it's more related to that kind of content. If you want to watch me game, and by all means, if you want to watch me game, it is what it is, man. I cuss a lot when I game. I get into it, man. I get pissed off sometimes when our team sucks. But either way, that's a whole different version of me, I guess you could say, when I'm gaming. But go ahead and follow me at Gaming with Lou. That's my name, Gaming with Lou. Give me a follow if you can. And yeah, thanks for everything, guys. Appreciate it. Peace.